So I'm Michelle Galloway. I'm the Associate Director of Professional Development in the O'Donnell Center for Professional Development, which is located inside the Clay Center in VSB. And we are excited to be able to continue to bring you this Careers in Corporate Finance event. As you all know, we normally do this on campus. What we think we found a great way to do it virtually. So I did send an email out. Hopefully most of you got that, but just to give a quick overview, we start out here in Zoom, and then we're going to move over to a different platform called Brazen, that's going to allow you to network one-on-one, face-to-face with our corporate representatives that are here. I'm going to share those links in the chat towards the end of this session, and I'll remind everybody again at the end of the session, but just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of how this will run. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to our co-presidents of the Villanova Finance Group, and they're going to get us started. Thanks, guys.
Hey, everyone. My name is Rohan Parikh, one of the co-presidents of VFG, which is the Villanova Finance Group. And we're excited to co-host this event with a couple other societies and think it's going to be a great opportunity for you guys to learn a lot about different careers in corporate finance and accounting. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Andrew.
Yep. Thanks, Rohan. So hi, everybody. I'm Angelo. I'm a senior finance and accounting student here at Villanova. So it's both sections tonight, which I think is kind of fitting. But just at a high level, kind of just want to introduce you to how VFG can kind of help you along your career in corporate finance or even in accounting too, because it both can definitely complement at that point. So VFG works in tandem with you to introduce you to topics that you'll learn in class, but then complement that to the real world. So apply that in-class learning and get that exposure outside of class so that you can get that overall great experience and really hone your skills and further you in your career and hopefully internship opportunities. So kind of with that too, I think corporate finance, a career in corporate finance is really beneficial because you get to see kind of the operational levels of companies. How do they really work? How do processes work? And you kind of see the inside scoop of, hey, here's how a product or a raw material gets from point A all the way to the end of the process. And you kind of can see where it can go. But then on the opposite end too, you can kind of see the financial standpoint of it. So like, how do you purchase that? How do you get that into process? And you see like the kind of wide spectrum of kind of everything it entails. And it is a wide array of careers. So there's plenty of opportunities for everybody out there. And I'm sure anybody on this call can attest to that. So with that too, I think Villanova Finance Group and all the societies at Villanova, we try and kind of coordinate with that and have speaker events throughout, through on campus and also through Zoom kind of this semester, kind of a little weird, but that's okay. So we have kind of speakers pertaining to different kind of topics that we have. So I know in 2 weeks we have Chris Heisey coming in just talking about financial markets in general and taking a macroeconomic viewpoint, but that can apply to corporate finance by just saying, hey, how is the macroeconomic environment going to apply to corporations on a large or small scale or within different industries? So in essence, kind of view VFG as a resource to kind of what you guys can do within class, but then also prepare you for internship and career opportunities. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Annie, and she's going to talk about the Accounting Society and how it kind of introduces to it.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you so much, Michelle, for putting together such a great event and allowing the Villanova Accounting Society to co-host. So my name is Annie Cowan, and I am one of the co-presidents for the Villanova Accounting Society. And I just wanted to briefly mention what it is we do, if anyone's interested in joining. It's really beneficial society and has helped me a lot throughout my time here at Villanova. So for any students who maybe are looking to pursue a potential career or degree in accounting, the Accounting Society has been so beneficial in helping me learn how to network and just providing me with opportunities to interact with different employers and employers. So with that being said, I just wanted to mention our next event is going to be an externship fair. So this is great for freshmen and sophomores who are looking for potential opportunities in the summer of 2021, wherever that might be, if it's virtual or not. So thank you again, Michelle, for allowing us to be here. And I'm going to throw it back to VFG.
Am I on next?
Sorry. Yep. So I was just going to pass it to you, Professor. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Rohan, Annie, thank you all for the great work you're doing. Welcome. My name's Steve Litka. I'm a professor in our accounting department. Very happy to join forces with the Villanova Finance Group and the Accounting Society. Couple big picture comments before we get going. Finance majors tend to think that investment banking is the only place to start your career. Accounting majors tend to think the big four are the only way to launch your career. And they're
You go to late night tonight?
sorry. And right, all these options are amazing, right? Corporate finance is another major alternative for our accounting and finance majors. And I am thrilled that you guys are here tonight because I think we have way, way too few students in Villanova who go the corporate finance route. You can get the same training, the same experience. It's wonderful. It's just different, right? Learn the alternatives and see which one matches you the most. I keep using the term corporate finance, right? We named the event Corporate Finance and Accounting just so the accounting side of the student body knows that this event is for them as well. But in the real world, we tend to call it corporate finance. It's in academia where we tend to artificially separate finance and accounting as if they're completely different worlds. This is a place that absolutely merges the two, where you'll get to use both of those skill sets. The companies here are all incredible. Every single one can launch your career, give you an amazing career. Most of the names are familiar. To the extent they're not, trust me that these guys are all huge players in the economy. Companies that do lots of amazing things. What is corporate finance, right? Basically, it's internal accounting and finance. You work for the big four on the accounting side, for example. You're going and doing work for clients. Here, your client is the organization, right? You're working internal for the organization, helping them with their finance and accounting. For example, we have our friends from Goldman Sachs here today. And obviously, Goldman Sachs has clients. But what we're talking about today is probably Goldman's biggest client, which is Goldman Sachs, right? Someone has to manage Goldman's own accounting and finance, make strategic decisions for the organization. Incredible careers all within Goldman, managing Goldman. I can't emphasize enough that these are amazing positions. I see BASF represented, for example. One of my honors students could have gone anywhere, right? Absolutely brilliant. Said, you know what? I'm going to try BASF. I know that's not the normal accounting route, and had the greatest experience she could possibly have had. Loves it more than anything. All these organizations have lots of successful alumni, Villanova alumni doing great things. The term, your job for tonight, the term corporate finance is really, really broad. Your job will not be identical at all these different organizations, right? So you have to feel out exactly what does corporate finance mean at these different organizations. Starting with what majors are.
To get 50% of the account.
I know there's at least one organization here tonight that only looks for accounting majors, for example. And there's certainly some organizations that only really want finance for their particular corporate finance positions. So start with who are you hiring for, right? But then that's not enough. Most organizations will hire accounting or finance majors from Villanova because they know how good you are, right? Even if it's not a perfect fit major-wise, they know you're great athletes, right? They know you've got the skills. So go beyond that and ask questions about what are the typical duties. For example, Merck, last I checked, starts everyone off in internal audit. Well, you know, in that case, if I want to set myself apart with Merck, maybe I should at least take the auditing class if I'm on the finance side. Maybe don't need necessarily a second major, but that would be a good one, right? That would make you stand out, make you better at that particular job. Ask about, you know, exactly what skills you want. Again, from my side of the fence, it's very often audit and intermediate accounting. A lot of the functions involve a lot of intermediate accounting. Ask those questions. Exactly what skill sets do you want? Do you want the double major? Is a major and a minor do it? Do I just have to have one? What would make me the absolute best person for you? And finally, talk about the journeys, right? Everybody here has a great story. What were the things that surprised you the most, right? What did you learn in that first experience that you can take with you for the rest of your career? How did you end up where you are now? Because in corporate finance, you're going to have lots of big decisions along the way. Maybe you do a rotational program, right? You learn all the different areas of the business. At some point, you're going to have tough choices of, okay, it's time for you to specialize in something. It's time for you to move up and do something more specific. Ask those questions. How did you start? What did you learn when you started? What made you choose the path that you're on right now? In many cases, our guests have stayed with the same firm their whole careers. Why? What makes you keep on with your firm? What's so special about it? Anyway, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a background on what corporate finance is. Again, we have a wide range of amazing employers. Use tonight to start exploring, right? Learn about every one of them. And I believe I'm now to hand it off to Maria Espinoza, an accounting and finance major. So perfect for tonight. Maria, why don't you take over?
Thank you, Professor Litka. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Spinozza. I'm an accounting and finance major, and I'm a junior in the business school. A little bit about me, I'm from Philadelphia, and I interned this past summer with PwC, and I will be interning next summer with Goldman Sachs. So I am kind of a prime example of taking Professor Litka's advice of doing kind of two different things, and exploring your options. So it's great to have everyone here. And I'm also the president of the National Association of Black Accountants, and I can speak a little bit about that. So NABA, as an acronym, is an organization that provides a space where students of color in VSB specifically can feel supported and uplifted while providing them with a network and resources to succeed. So that is our ultimate mission. And we actually have an event coming up tomorrow, which is a senior highlight with 4 students of color sharing their experiences with their different internships. So you can register on Handshake for that. And that's a little bit about me. Now I'm going to turn it over to the panelists that we have. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for taking the time out of your day to speak to us. We're really excited to have you all here. First, we have John Mahoney from BASF. We have Scott Adamo from Citi, and forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Emily Zazu from Comcast. We have Claire DArcangelo from Goldman Sachs, Frank Capra from L3 Harris, Matt Calabro from Johnson & Johnson, Mark Kangemi from Quest, and then we have Hannah Angelo, who's a recruiter of Vanguard. And to start, if each panelist would like to kind of share their career path and why they chose corporate finance, and kind of tell us a little bit about the company you work in, we can start off with John Mahoney.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to once again be part of the Villanova community. So a little background from me, from my side is I'm a Villanova grad, and proud to say from 1983. So you're probably gonna say, wow, he's been around a bit. I'm also a proud parent of a Villanova VSB alum, and also my son is now also part of the master's program at Villanova. So the bloodline goes pretty deep. Just to give you an idea of where I started and where I'm at. So when I was looking for a role and actually a degree, I made a decision in Villanova to move over into the business school, and that was after using the resources of the school to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to really do. When I was looking to go out into the career world at the time, there were, as Professor was mentioning, the ideas of corporate versus external audit firms, right? The big firms. Well, back then there was some really good programs in the corporate side, but I really didn't understand them well, and wound up with one of the accounting firms. Now, one of the key points, like what the firm I picked was, is currently known today as Deloitte. Why did I go there compared to some of the other offers I had? It was the people. Actually, the people that I spoke to and the people that eventually hired me were Villanova alum, and we connected well. I eventually then was looking to expand out into a different industry subset, because I was kind of getting into industries that I enjoyed at Deloitte, but I didn't see my future going in that path in these industries, and wound up looking at for other opportunities. Not hard, but just kind of exploring. And BASF came along, and I wound up taking a role in what they called at that time their chemicals division, and it was a broad role. The person that I interviewed with, I found out afterwards, after I accepted the role was another Villanova alum. You know, he didn't want to jade me in the interview process of talking about it, but it was a role that I sat there and I looked around and I said, you know what, this is pretty broad. It's really gonna challenge me to grow. It's gonna put me in some, you know, areas that I haven't really touched on before, but I like the people that I saw. So my first give to you in terms of advice is, when you're looking for a role, try to do everything you can to understand about the company. Use the resources at the school, but at the end of the day, you have to, in your mind, feel that you're going to be comfortable there. So, I wound up at BASF. I've been at BASF now for 30 plus years. So, one of those individuals that kind of found a place and clearly enjoyed it. And part of that was because I was always being challenged. It's a very large company. It's a global company. And I've bounced around in what we would call our finance organization in various different roles, in accounting, in business partnering with pharmaceuticals, with chemicals. Currently, I'm involved with 3 distinct areas. One is with our catalyst division. So that includes precious metals trading and battery materials. So very interesting, very diverse. Every day I'm learning something new there and being challenged. I have responsibility for 2 of our largest global manufacturing sites in terms of the accounting that takes place there. And I have a process optimization team that, every day there's a new challenge and a new problem, and we're looking for solutions end to end. So, what I, from a career standpoint, it's been one that's been very dynamic, and one that, if I look at some of the roles that I've taken, there wasn't someone there before me. So, you have to have that ability to want to continually to learn, right? Today, I was learning some new things that I have not been exposed to before. So to me, that, the career path, why did I wind up at BASF? Again, I think it was, okay, here's something different, something new. It's in a different industry. I like the people when I interviewed with, I did a little research about the company. So it was a good company. And maybe the reason I liked the people initially was because some of them were from Villanova. I don't know, but it seems to be a common denominator in the way I've gone through my path. So that's just a little bit about who I am and where I am. I guess later, I know there's some other questions that you want to cover in terms of, advice and, who we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And maybe I'll turn it to the other panelists to give a little view of who they are.
Yeah, we can turn it over to Scott.
Great. Thanks, Maria. Hi, Scott Adamo. It's interested in listening to John. So much of what John said resonates with my career path and things I think about. And it's like he was reading my notes or something. But he's absolutely right, and in a lot of ways, right? Like, so my background is I work at Citigroup, right? Large, massive multinational bank. I grew up overseas. That's sort of what originally attracted me to the bank. My youth was very global, lived in a lot of different countries. And I came into Villanova, right? So I was a Villanova grad as well, class of 2007, from the business school as a finance and international business double major. And what really, I went into Villanova and I kind of thought exactly what Professor Lucas said, which is I'm going to be an investment banker, right? And I'm going to go into sales and trading and all that stuff. And I actually did the study abroad program over the summer in London. I went over and they gave me an internship in banking, and I didn't love it, to be honest. It was hyper niche, right? Like, just, I was working on like the private placements desk, and I was like, I don't even understand half this stuff. I found out it wasn't really what I was passionate about, right? I was much more interested in the broader market, the broader financial market. And so what I found was that Citi had an internship program for corporate finance, internship leadership development program. And I looked at Citi, I said, oh, it's a global bank. It's really big. It's got all these lines of business across consumer and institutional. It's all over the world. And it felt like a place I could build a career, right? And it felt like going in, what I love about corporate corporate finance, and what's really attracted me to that and kept me there is the skills are so transferable, right? If you're doing accounting, if you're doing financial planning and analysis, investor relations, you can do those things anywhere, right? And going into some of these big firms early in your career, what you find is they're great training grounds. There's a massive wealth of resources at your disposal. The finance organizations are hundreds, if not thousands of people large. They're just factories for training people in these skills. And what I found over my career is that it was a great place to build the same skills you actually build in banking, right? It's technical skills, it's communication skills, it's presentation skills, but then it opens up this wider sort of world in front of you to say, and a lot of these companies within corporate finance will transfer you around, right? And that's sort of Citi's MO. That's our pitch, right? Is come do anything anywhere in the world. And I found that to be true, right? And similar to what John said, my learning curve has remained steep, right? My network is really wide. And you find that too, as you make decisions about staying at a company, you're giving up your network equity by leaving, right? You build a career and you know all these people, you understand the company, and the people are largely what keep you there. And for me, I've been at Citi now for 13 years. I spent about half of that in our corporate treasury department, right? So that's sort of a subsection of corporate finance. It's very specialized. I spent about 6 years there, and then I moved over. And currently I'm in our credit card business. And so in what we call financial planning and analysis, which is really a sort of analytical function for the bank. And my current role, right, I've sort of worked my way up, and I'm currently the chief financial officer for the proprietary division of our US credit card business, right? And what I did find as I stayed within finance, it opened a lot of doors, but it also guided me to something I was passionate about. And I found an area that I could go really deep in. And so I've stayed with cards. I've been in cards business for about 7 or 8 years now. And, the company has allowed me the optionality to move, but also the optionality to stay and grow, which I've enjoyed. So that's a little bit about me, but actually was interested to see how similar it was to the other path.
Thanks, Scott. Now we're going to hand it over to Emily. And would you like to kind of talk about your career path as well, and kind of what do you do on a day-to-day?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Maria. So hi, everyone. My name is Emily Zazu. I graduated from Villanova in 2019, so I was in your shoes not too long ago. I had an accounting and business analytics co-major. And again, kind of like what Professor Lidka mentioned, I was kind of thinking Big Four at first. But I met some people over at Comcast at a career fair and decided to try out an internship there. So it's a corporate finance internship program that then kind of leads into core finance rotational programs. So again, in corporate finance, so you kind of get all the skills not all the skills, but you get a good taste of some of the skills of what corporate finance has to offer and all the different options. So during my internship, I was in a controllership role. So that's super accounting heavy. A lot of journal entries, a lot of month-end, quarter close, balance sheet reconciliations, just really understanding the financial statements. And I was able to do that with Comcast Spectacor. So that is the arm of Comcast that owns the Wells Fargo Center, the Flyers, and the video game league that they have over there, the Philadelphia Fusion. So that was a really interesting industry to be in. So there's a lot to learn about the company just being in a role like that. And then as well as just learning the nitty gritty journal entries that go into day-to-day work. And then so my first rotation in core finance then after I graduated was in New York with the cable networks that NBC owns. So that was USA, Sci-Fi, Bravo, E, those kind of networks. And I was doing financial planning and analysis just as a financial analyst. So that I would say is still a little bit of accounting skills, but a little more finance heavy than controllership is. So on a day-to-day basis, you're kind of just tracking where the income statement is for whatever group you're doing it for. So it's a lot of Excel work, which is something I felt I got a pretty good base in being at Villanova. So you guys are in a great shape to be in an FP&A role post-graduation. From my perspective, as well as doing some presentations. So pretty much every month we would either present to the VP or the CFO of the group and kind of like show them where we are, what our goals are for the next month, and any like external trends that are going on. So there's a lot of opportunity to get some of that like senior leadership viewpoint and like working with them, and not necessarily just like head down in your computer all day, which is super awesome.
Thank you, Emily. And now we're going to turn it over to Claire. Can you give us a little bit of an overview of your career path and talk a little bit about the projects that you work on?
Thank you for having me. My name is Claire DArcangelo, and I graduated from Villanova 3 years ago in 2017. I have a twin sister that also went to Villanova, and my parents both went to Villanova. And I have a younger brother who's currently in the process of applying, and I'm crossing my fingers that he goes as well to round out the family. But I work at Goldman Sachs, and I currently sit on our firm-wide strategy team. And prior to that, I was in our global investment research division focusing on healthcare stocks. So right out of college, I joined our global investment research division. My conversations with Goldman were the most interesting of all the interviews I personally had, and I felt super energized and excited to work for the firm. The interviews took place on Villanova's campus. So Villanova alum were recruiting me, and I'm still very close with them today. I had a few conversations with them this week, actually. And so I was, when I was thinking about what role I wanted something to flex both my analytical and writing skills, and equity research did just that. And I received great technical training and learned to write research reports that would literally move the prices of the stocks we were covering. But after a year in that seat, I realized I wanted to learn more about the firm more broadly and the strategic initiatives that were going on across the firm. So I was lucky enough to join the firm-wide strategy team, and our chief strategy officer had just taken her role. This was about 2 years ago, and she was building an initiative to invest in diverse-led businesses and fund managers, and it was a $500 million commitment. And so I've now been in that role for 2 years, specifically focused on Launch with GS, which is what the initiative is called. And of the $500 million, we've deployed around $330 million. So my day-to-day really consists of engaging and sourcing early stage entrepreneurs and fund managers, and opening up the doors of Goldman Sachs to offer resources that those entrepreneurs and managers wouldn't have historically received. So I'm really enjoying my job, and it's something that the firm is focused on more broadly, investing in diverse opportunities. So it's been an awesome experience, and I'll pause there and turn it over to the next panelist.
Thanks, Claire. Next, we're going to turn it to Frank.
Hello, Frank Capra, work at L3 Harris. I'm a finance manager in the program finance department. I did not graduate from Villanova. I think I'm the only one of the panelists maybe that did not. I graduated from Drew University with an economics degree back in 2008. Started at L3 Harris at the time. They were ITT Corporation in Clifton, New Jersey. Had a cousin who's actually still an engineer there. That's how I found out about that company, and interned, and then eventually took a permanent position there. And just started out doing kind of like grunt work, running a lot of reports and providing a lot of financial data up to the finance organization. And then from there, got put on special programs. I moved over to the strategic planning department for a while. We had some major proposal activity going on that I got involved in. Since I started there, we were, the company ITT spun off into 3 companies. Then we were acquired. Then our group was acquired by Harris Corporation, and we just recently merged with L3. So I got to be a part of projects that related to all those, to really all that stuff. So that was, it was good experience to get. Day to day, dealing with a lot of our functional managers. Essentially, what my position is, have P&L responsibility for 2 different product lines. A lot of engineering studies and production of products, mostly for the DoD. So a lot of interacting with our manufacturing and engineering department leads and our procurement, and making sure that we're staying profitable, and then flowing that all information back up through our FP&A group and our corporate finance.
Thank you, Frank. Next up, we have Matt.
Hi, everyone. Matt Calabro from Johnson & Johnson. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here in front of you. Great group to be talking about corporate finance and roles here. I think the opening by Professor Letka and other colleagues across other companies really hit the nail on the head. It's great opportunity to use multiple skills, finance, accounting, and others. I hear economics, I hear marketing. Within Johnson & Johnson, the roles we have, you're really a business leader, multidisciplined business leader. In many cases, working with folks who may not have studied finance, accounting, and other business disciplines on a regular basis. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I'm a Villanova grad, 2008. Been with Johnson & Johnson since then. I came through as a co-op initially, but we have many folks that come through co-ops and internships. And then I moved into their finance leadership development program, which is an accelerated leadership development program, finding new opportunities, ways of looking at the business and working in different business segments, possibly changing locations, and in a COVID environment today, possibly not rotating from one site to another, really staying put, but getting a different experience nonetheless. But really, we kind of pride ourselves on moving every few years into different functions, different areas to see the business holistically, learn about supply chain and operations, marketing, pricing, strategic product development, research and R&D, treasury, corporate services, really, and this stands, I think, for corporate finance as a whole, but many doors are open, and you may find one that particularly intrigues you, which is great. And if you find it, jump in. What I've found is, I've liked to learn and move, and the company really has afforded me the opportunity to move and see different sides of the business. So flex the operations muscle to, get into accounting in a detailed way. Maybe that's setting accounting policy as governing bodies are changing policies and determining how the company will address and adapt to those. Or today, in a role that I'm in today, managing costs for ongoing clinical trials for example, a COVID vaccine or the next cancer treatment, trying to figure out pricing or costs to run clinical trials. And, resources are finite, which I think is probably economics lesson number one. But, I think we end up applying econ, accounting, marketing, finance, really multidisciplinary approach. And I think corporate finance lets you flex as many of those muscles as you will develop across your coursework here at Villanova.
Thank you. And next we have Mark. If you can talk a little bit about your career path and what you do on a day-to-day.
Sure. It is hard to follow that group. Man, that was a lot of really good information there. My name is Mark Kangemi. I'm a 2006 Villanova grad, so I see some familiar faces here from school. That was a long time ago. I majored in accounting and MIS, which I don't actually think is even a major you offer anymore because things have changed that quickly over the years, but I think there's comparable solutions, analytics, IT, all of that going on. I work for Quest Diagnostics. We're the world leader in diagnostic information insights, laboratory testing. And as you're all aware, over the last 6 or 7 months, we've been at the forefront of helping to respond to this pandemic in terms of diagnosing COVID infections nationwide and across certain countries in the world. As a corporate finance employee, I'm echoing a lot of the people who preceded me here with the opportunities that corporate finance allows to get out into the business and see the business. I have an accounting major. I didn't love working in public accounting, first job out of college for me, it wasn't right for me. And I had a professor at Villanova, Dr. Emig, who told us it's good to find things you don't like when you're learning about jobs and internships. And I thought that was odd until I went through and actually realized it's okay to pivot and learn from roles that maybe aren't a great fit for me. You can still learn while you're in those roles. I joined Quest Diagnostics 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I'm currently our Senior Director of Commercial Analytics for Quest. That is a role that is unlike a lot of other finance roles. And I've spent half of my career at Quest completely outside of finance. And that's one of the things that a corporate finance role can bring to you. You can actually go into the business. And that's what I had the opportunity to do for 5 years, running sales operations within our organization, commercial operations, being a part of that leadership team. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, rejoining our finance group to lead the analytics side of our financial business evaluation. So everything around revenue, growth, strategy, competition in the marketplace. And what I get to deal with on a day-to-day basis, my main customer is actually our chief commercial officer. So I work every day with our chief commercial officer around our strategies, successes, failures, and projects that we need to do to run our organization, and provide him with those analytical insights to make the best decisions we can as a company. So I took a lot of notes here from some of my peers, and something that I heard that resonated. I use all of my skills. Corporate finance employees absolutely don't just use finance skills. And as a Villanovan, what brought me into an organization like Quest, and why I think I like working for an organization like Quest, is it's a place where you can build a network and build what we call a family. We call ourselves a family. And I'm texting with a coworker in Alabama who's stressed right now because, as you can imagine, this has been a really, really challenging 6 or 7 months in our organization. And I told her, I'm like, we're a family, because she's struggling with a problem. And I said, I'll help you after I get off this call with all these great students I'm on. And she's cracking up. She's a salesperson. So she's like, oh, finance, I'm afraid of that. No, but we really use all of these skills, communication skills, problem solving skills. There's no answer a lot of times, and you got to come up with your solutions. We're doing 2021 planning. Our earnings releases tomorrow. There's a lot of open questions. And as a finance leader in our company, I have the privilege to help try to figure that out within our organization. So it's incredibly rewarding to work for a company that helps people, and to use a finance skill set, which is the skill set that I have every day, and to have the opportunity to create new opportunities within my company. As somebody else mentioned it, I've created several of my own roles at Quest. It hasn't been you're going to go from this job to the next job to the next job. I've written job descriptions for my own roles because I've come to them with ideas. And corporate finance is more flexible than you probably would first think. If you come up with innovations, if you come up with ways to look at the business in new ways, a lot of times they're willing to adapt and develop new departments. I've launched 2 different departments at this organization in the last 10 years. So it's a great place. I want to make sure there's some time for some of my other peers here. So I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Mark. And actually, MIS is still a major here. So.
All right. No, there was only 8 of us my senior year, but yeah, no, okay.
It's definitely gained popularity, MIS and business analytics. So that's definitely still a great major to choose.
Is Dr. Bob still at the school? Bob Neidick?
I'm not sure, but I know Dr. Emig is.
Well, okay. All right. Excellent.
Well, thank you, Mark. And lastly, I'm going to hand it over to Hannah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. The panelists tonight are amazing, hit on so many great points, but I'll give a little bit of background on myself. So my name is Hannah Angelo. I am on the university and recruiting partnerships team at Vanguard. So not necessarily a background in finance, but work really closely with finance students, strong talent, and our finance hiring managers. So lots of information for you all tonight if you have questions on that. I can talk, so we do also recruit all majors at Vanguard. So in our finance programs, we are looking primarily for econ majors, finance, accounting, math. But for our other roles, we do recruit all majors. So really good to have an interest in finance. We definitely value that, but not necessary to start a career at Vanguard. So personally, why I chose Vanguard, I went to Westchester University. So Frank, you are not alone. I graduated in 2018. My major was in business management and I took a minor in finance. So my whole college career, I knew I wanted to work in the financial services industry, but I did not want to work for a company that was super cutthroat and internally competitive, and just that's not my personality type. I didn't think I'd be a great fit for that. So I decided to do some research on local companies. Vanguard was up the street from Westchester, so did some research there and felt really aligned to and fell in love with the company's mission and ownership structure. So that was initially what really drew me into Vanguard. Like many others have hit on, it was then the people. I started doing some networking, did my due diligence, and met with people before I actually pursued a career. And everyone was so focused on professional development and helping me achieve my goals and get to my next step. And that to me just resonated so well. And I was like, this is a place to not only, you know, have a job, but start off a career. And I felt really aligned to the culture. So that's what really brought me in. My day-to-day, I'm on the university recruiting team, so works a little bit differently, really ambiguous. I think I can speak for everyone in saying that in this environment. So working across departments, and I know that finance is a strategic partner. So they're working with HR, they're working with IT. So a lot of cross-divisional collaboration, which is really nice. And I don't myself, you know, I don't have any finance projects to share, but a few that peers who are in our programs, we have a development program focused on leadership, and it's our accelerated financial professional program. So a few projects that folks have worked on that they shared with me are monitoring monthly and year-to-date financial performance of Vanguard's different divisions, assisting with quarterly reforecasts for clients, and different ad hoc projects. So when Vanguard was launching our New Ways of Working initiative, you might tackle that with a team member. Again, you might partner with someone from a different division on a project. So a lot of really great exposure. And I love that about Vanguard. It's super rotational. So really, really good place to kind of kick off your career. You might not end up in the same department that you started in. I'm a prime example of that. But it's a really great opportunity, and happy to answer more questions, but don't want to take up too much time.
Thank you, Hannah, and thank you to all the panelists. This concludes our panel, but after this session, we do have a networking opportunity. So for the students on this call, it doesn't end here. Take advantage of these professionals, follow up with them, send them emails. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to have a virtual coffee chat with you guys. So feel free to ask them questions. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with all of us. And I know we have some corporate reps on the call. And if they would like to introduce themselves, those who aren't on the panel, I can give them the opportunity now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here this evening. My name is Tiffany Colossus. I am the campus recruiting manager for global functions at Citi. So I work really closely with Scott on our financial analyst program, and also oversee our analyst programs and associate programs within HR, internal audit, and risk management at the firm. I'm also a Villanova alum, so go Wildcats, class of 2010. I'm just excited to be here and happy to connect with everyone in the next portion of the recruiting seminar.
Hi, sorry.
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Paola. I'm at Comcast, so I work with Emily on the core rotational program. And I also graduated from Nova in 2019. So excited to talk to everyone in the next one-on-one portion.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ashna. I currently work at Quest Diagnostics as a financial analyst, and I work in our operating cost analytics function. And I'm also a part of our full-time rotational program. So again, also to echo what everyone else is saying, excited to meet everybody and get to connect with other people one-on-one.
Everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Garcia. I'm Manny Garcia. I'm a senior financial analyst over at Johnson & Johnson. So any questions, I'll see you over in the one-on-one.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nick Campanella. I actually just recently graduated from Villanova in 2020, virtually, of course. And I started with Quest Diagnostics the month after. I'm on our capital investments and analysis team, and I also did our internship program that feeds into our FLBP at Quest. So happy to network with any of you after this.
Hi, everyone. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
I'm Steve Gagnier. Similar to Emily and Paola, I work for Comcast NBC Universal in the core finance rotational program. Also graduated from Villanova in 2019. So happy and looking forward to chatting with some of you.
Hi, everyone. Maura Thompson with L3 Harris. I have been at the company for about 3.5 years, and I'm in the Finance Leadership Development Program as a financial analyst. So happy to answer any questions in the one-on-one session. I look forward to talking to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Palmer, and I am also with L3 Harris, also in the Financial Leadership Development Program as a program analyst, although last year I was in accounting and really loved it. So looking forward to meeting some of y'all in the one-on-ones.
Did we get everybody?
Hi, everyone. My name is Sunny Sumda. I work at Citi, and I am the finance campus recruiter. So I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone. I'm not a Villanova alum, but I do love your school.
Okay, did we get everybody? We love our school too, Sunny. Thanks.
Can you guys hear me or no?
No.
Hi, guys. How's it going? My name is Melissa Megulero. I work for BASF, and I started in a rotational program straight out of Villanova, so another alum here. And I'm currently a global business manager for our precious metal recycling business. So happy to talk to anybody about careers. I've had roles in accounting and finance at this point. So look forward to the discussion. Thanks.
Okay, now did we get everybody? I think we're good. Okay, great. So again, thank you everybody for being with us, students and our professionals. Hopefully we shared a lot of great information. Students picked up some good tips from you. Now we're going to move into the live networking portion on Brazen. So I shared in the chat the links. Unfortunately, we had to create 2 separate Brazen events for this. So if you are looking to connect with professionals from BSF, Citi, Comcast, Goldman, and L3 Harris, there's one link for that. If you're looking for J&J, Quest, and Vanguard, there's a separate link for that, and that's in the chat. If for some reason you don't get those and you still need them, you can email me, michelle.galloway@villanova.edu, and I can send them to anybody who needs them. But yeah, please go ahead and go over to the Brazen event now, and we'll get started on that. I'll hang out in here also in case anybody has any last minute questions, but otherwise, if you all want to go ahead and log off here, log in there, we'll see how that goes. Thank you again, everyone.